Hello, my name's Kingsley Singleton, Deputy Editor of Digital Photo, the UK's best-selling photography and imaging magazine, and welcome to this Photoshop and Elements video lesson on presenting your macro images. Now, there's no denying that macro photography can produce some really great shots, but sometimes, because they're so magnified or abstract, they can lack context or simply look a little bit too scientific. To combat this, it's always worth trying out a subtle presentation effect on your macro efforts, and as you'll see in this lesson, you can't go far wrong with a triptych. This 3-picture framing device allows you to tell a nice little story about your subject, and the results will look so good that you'll really want to show them off, maybe even hang them on the wall. There are lots of tips on shooting macro images in this month's magazine, including the right way to approach your subject when shooting for a triptych. But essentially, you want to record your subject, in this case an old pocket watch, from a variety of angles. The one thing to watch out for, though, is to make sure that there's at least some consistency between the shots. Too much variation will make the images jostle for attention and won't create the kind of even composition that you're looking for. If you'd like to have a go at presenting your images in this way, there are 10 of these triptych templates on this month's CD, so there's bound to be one that'll suit your shots. They're all sized at A4 for easy printing and framing, but in the next video lesson we'll take a quick look at modifying the templates to suit any taste. First though, you'll want to know how to use them, and that's what we'll tackle here. So first I'll just close down the finished example and just minimize this one of the start images here, and then we'll come up to File, down to Open, and we'll choose the template called Rebate Triptych 1. Click Open and it'll appear on screen. Now here we have our 3 black spaces into which we're going to insert our macro images, but first we need to tell Photoshop where we want them to go, and we're going to do this using the Magic Wand tool over here in the toolbox. Give that a click, and then before we start clicking on the image, up here in the options bar we'll just make sure that it's set to New Selection, that the tolerance is at 32, that's the default setting, and that anti-alias and contiguous are ticked. And now we'll come back down onto the image and just click once in this central black space. As soon as you do that, marching ants appear all the way round the edge of it. But I also want to select these small holes here at the bottom, so I'm just going to zoom in on those. Hold down the Shift key on the keyboard and you get a little plus sign next to the Magic Wand tool there, and then I'm just going to click on the 3 of them, just adding them to our selected area. So we'll come back out to a full view with Control and 0 on the keyboard, and then I'm just going to refine the selection ever so slightly, just coming up to Select, down to Modify, and then picking the option called Expand. In here, I'm just going to expand the selection by 1 pixel, and that's just going to make sure that we don't have a black line around the edge of our image once it's put in. So click OK, and now we're ready to insert the first of our pictures. The first one I'm going to put in is called Clock 1, which you'll also find on this month's CD. Bring it up on screen and just then come up to the Select menu and down to All. You can also do this by pressing Ctrl and A on the keyboard, and what we get when we do that is marching ants all the way around the edge of the picture. Then it's up to Edit and down to Copy, and that copies all of those selected pixels into the computer's memory, and then we can just close down that shot. And then back on our Rebate Triptych image, with our marching ants still active, it's back up to Edit and down to Paste Into. Don't pick Paste in this case, pick Paste Into. Give that a click, and that image will drop really nicely into the frame. Now it's time to have a look at our Layers palette, which you can find under the Window menu. Mine's just sitting down here at the bottom of the screen. And if we drag that out a little bit, you'll see that when I pasted the image into the frame, we've added a new layer, but the selection we made has given us an attached layer mask. And this mask is just making sure that we can't see all of those areas outside of the selection we made, so it's sitting really nicely in that central box. Trouble is though, of course, we can't see all of it, so what we need to do is press Ctrl and T on the keyboard, or come up to Edit and down to Free Transform, and that'll bring up a bounding box all the way around the image pixels there, and then we can just hold down the Shift key on the keyboard and click and drag these corner handles in, just resizing the picture and repositioning it within the frame. To reposition it, just move your cursor within the bounding box and click and drag. So that's kind of starting to look okay. We'll make it a little bit smaller still and just sort of position it around there. That should be fine. Once you're happy with the positioning of the image within one of the frames of your triptych, just press return on the keyboard or click the tick up here in the options bar. Now at this point I'm just going to dive into the Elements interface because the process is ever so slightly different in that software, so Photoshop users just bear with me for a moment. So we'll bring that up on screen, and as you can see once again we've got our rebate triptych template here and we've got our start image clock 1. So just as before, we'll come up to select down to all, edit, copy, then we can get rid of that one and we can make our selection in the center box there just as before using the magic wand tool, set up to 32 anti-alias and contiguous. So we'll give that a click. Once again just zoom in to select these smaller areas, holding down the shift key once again on the keyboard. Back out to a full view, and the difference you'll see now when I go up to edit and down to paste into selection this time is that though the image appears to drop in the same way, if you take a look at the layers palette, it's not added as a new layer. Why is this? Well, it's because Elements doesn't support layer masks. All it means though is that when we press Ctrl and T again to resize our shot within the box, just keep at it there until it fits nicely. That's looking pretty good. But once we click the tick, we then need to come up to select and down to deselect to get rid of those marching ants. Now the thing is, you need to make any position and size adjustments before you go to deselect. So if we're not at all happy, we just press Ctrl and T again and we can resize and reposition our picture. Click the tick, but once we come up to select and down to deselect, we can no longer move it around. It's stuck in position, so just make sure you've got it exactly as you want it before you deselect. That's the only real difference in Elements though, so I'll now switch back into Photoshop CS3 and we'll continue looking at how we're going to create this nice triptych effect. So before we continue, we first need to make another selection, so we'll once again zoom in on the image, and then before we click back in our black space here in the layers palette, we need to click back on our background layer. Of course in Elements we don't need to do that because we've just got the one single layer, but if you are in Photoshop, make sure you click on the background. Then you can click in the black space again and also just select those little areas at the top, back up to select, down to modify and expand, use 1 pixel again, and then for this right hand window we'll pick up clock3.jpg. Once again, Control and A to select all, Control and C to copy into the computer's memory, and we can close it down, and then it's up to edit and down to paste into. So once again it's too big for the hole, so we'll zoom back out, press Control and T, and just reposition and resize that as we see fit. Again in the layers palette you'll see that we've got a new layer, but this time I'm actually just going to angle the image ever so slightly, just using that cursor there, positioning it just outside the bounding box and clicking and dragging. And what I'm looking for here really is just to try and sort of continue that that curve of the cog there so that it sort of runs between the two pictures, follows the line of the clock. So I'm really going to try and sort of swing this one around until we get something sort of around about there. So we're getting that kind of nice consistent flow, and we've also kind of positioned our sharp area of that that macro shot on the right hand side onto one of the thirds of the frame. So something around about there is looking pretty good. As you can see, we've spun the image around quite a long way. We can just maybe sort of resize it ever so slightly too. That's looking pretty good. So we'll click the tick once again up there in the options bar, and then just as we did before, click on the background layer and we'll zoom in a little bit, and using the magic wand tool make our selection again, up to select, down to modify, expand it by a pixel, and then we'll bring in our final shot, that's clock2.jpg, select all those pixels, copy them into the computer's memory, close it down, and then up to edit and paste into. Back out to a slightly wider view so we can transform it easily. Control and T on the keyboard to bring up that free transform tool again. and we'll just start resizing it as we did before. And again, I'm just going to try and get a nice kind of angle on these cogs here, just trying to get them to line up with the clock face itself. And this time I think I'm going to bring it sort of slightly further down, just kind of increasing the size of it as well. So we get a little bit of that detail in there on the cogs, and something around about there is looking quite good, I think. So once again we'll hit the tick up there in the options bar. Okay, so that's all there is to it really. If we take a quick look in the layers palette, you can see how the different images have been added within Photoshop. And if we do want to make any adjustments to them, all we need to do is click on the corresponding layer, press Ctrl and T again on the keyboard, and we can kind of further fine-tune how those images appear. All that's left to do, once you're happy with the layout of your triptych image, is to come up to Layer and down to Flatten Image. You won't need to do that in Elements, of course, because it'll all be contained on the single background layer. But as I say, that's all there is to it really, a quick, simple and effective way of displaying your macro images. Give it a try with your own shots using the free templates on this month's CD, and if you want to get a little bit more creative, check out the next video lesson where we'll take a quick look at customizing the templates so you can change the shape of the frames, print the whole thing larger, or do it with a different background color. Okay, hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time.